They say when you stare too long into the darkness, sometimes it stares back. Most people brush off strange noises in the night or shadows shifting in the corner of their vision. But what if those fleeting figures aren't just tricks of the mind? What if something is watching you, waiting, just out of reach? This is the true story of a man who thought he was safe in his own home until he realized he wasn't alone. It started with small things. He would wake up to find his bedroom door slightly open, even though he knew he had closed it before going to bed. Keys went missing, only to turn up in the strangest places. But the strangest thing? A feeling, an overwhelming sense that something was there, just behind him, just beyond his sight. He chalked it up to stress, lack of sleep, maybe even paranoia. But then, the whispers began. At first, they were barely perceptible, like a distant conversation just outside his window. He lived alone, in a quiet neighborhood where no one would be up at such ungodly hours. And yet, there they were, soft voices, murmuring things he couldn't quite make out. One night, he decided to investigate. He grabbed his phone and turned on the flashlight, sweeping it around his bedroom. Nothing, but when he turned toward the doorway, he saw it. A shadow, tall, unmoving, just standing there. His breath hitched, his fingers trembled as he fumbled for the light switch, but the second the bulb flickered on, the shadow was gone. No sound, no movement, just empty space. He didn't sleep that night. The following days were worse. Objects began moving right in front of him. A glass of water slid across the counter without a push. The TV turned on by itself, always to static. And at night, the whispers grew louder, more distinct. Then came the knocking. It started at exactly 3:15 a.m. 3 knocks, slow, deliberate, on his bedroom door. He didn't move, he didn't breathe. The air was thick with something unseen, something heavy, and then, silence. He stayed awake until dawn, clutching his phone, waiting, but nothing else happened, not until the next night. Again, 3:15 a.m., 3 knocks. This time, he worked up the courage to check. He grabbed a baseball bat and, with shaky hands, swung the door open. Nothing. But as he turned back toward his bed, he saw it. A handprint, pressed into the fogged-up glass of his window, from the inside. His heart slammed against his ribs. He had locked his doors, checked his windows. There was no way someone could have gotten inside. No way something could have left that mark. Unless, it had never needed to get in. Because it had always been there. Sleep became impossible. He tried to ignore it, to tell himself he was imagining things. But the knocking never stopped, the shadows never left, and the whispers, they started calling his name. One night, in pure desperation, he set up his phone to record while he slept. He left the bedroom light on, hoping that whatever it was wouldn't appear. The next morning, he hesitated before pressing play. For the first few hours, nothing, just him, shifting in bed. Then, movement. The closet door slowly creaked open. And standing there, in the dim glow of the lamp, was a figure. Not fully formed, not quite human, but unmistakably watching him. And then, with an unnatural slowness, it turned its head toward the camera. The screen went black. His phone had died, but he knew he wasn't alone. That was the last night he spent in that house. He packed a bag, left everything behind, and never returned. The house remains empty, but the neighbors say, on certain nights, when the wind is still, they hear knocking. 3 knocks, always at 3:15 a.m. And if you listen closely, you might just hear the whispers, calling your name. Conclusion: some people believe in ghosts, some don't, but whether you believe it or not, some things just can't be explained. What would you do if something unseen set its sights on you? If you've ever experienced something chilling, something you can't explain, share your story in the comments below. And if you enjoy unsettling tales like this, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a story. Because remember, sometimes, the darkness stares back.